It is another Mailbag, John, presented by our friends at Tito's Handmade Vodka. Thank you, Tito's.
#1 vodka in America, based in Austin, Texas. Tito's and sodas on us. Tweet a guy. He'll send you his credit card number, and he'll just buy you some alcohol wherever you're at drinking.
Yeah, that's right. Just
How'd
send
you like that
Middlecoff
idea?
the receipt, and he'll Venmo you immediately. Or just go buy the bottles and send us pictures. Please keep it going. You're on a Saturday night right now. Maybe send us some pictures of what you're hanging out, drinking, watching football. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. Thank you, Tito's, for the support. And again, keep tagging us and sending us DMs of you and your Tito's. Podcast also brought to you by deck.com/ham. Free shipping, John, on the incredible decked drawer system for your truck.
Yep. Deck.com/ham. Free shipping. If you have a truck, you need some drawers, get on it right now. Deck.com/ham on us.
And
sweet.
DraftKings, baby. DraftKings promo code ham.
Yep. Download the DraftKings app. I think next week it starts the playoffs for the FedEx. Starts at 125. I think we get a little golf game going.
Sir.
And then a couple golf games leading up to the Tour Championship. Then football's right around the corner. DraftKings, download the DraftKings app. Tell your friends to download the DraftKings app and put in promo code ham and get ready because we got a league. And we are going to play ourselves some fantasy football and golf.
As always, these mailbag questions come from iTunes, where you leave us a review, 5 stars. We appreciate it. Just hit 1,000. Thank you very much. And in that review, tell us your favorite bar to hang out at and leave us a question for the mailbag. You can also, we've been adding this the last several weeks, leave us a mailbag question on Facebook.
Do it.
The Haberman and Middlecoff promo code ham Facebook page. So go check it out. Here we go, John. As always, real questions from real listeners. This is from JDuty22. Tito's and Sprite and a couple squirts of Mio. Love the show top to bottom each and every week. That's not a question, but that's the first person, or maybe the second person we've had mention that they squirt some Mio in their Tito's and soda, which is like the little flavor. So, okay. There we go. All right. Now here comes
used to have that little thing.
the little bottle you keep in your pocket.
Yeah.
Now, here come the questions, John. This starts with Lorson de Bier. Pick one non-quarterback from each of the other NFC West teams to go on the current roster. Is it really as simple as Aaron Donald, Jamal Adams, and DeAndre Hopkins, or would you pick someone else? I do think it's that simple.
I would take Chandler Jones if he's healthy, I think.
Over Hopkins?
Yes.
I would not.
You're saying that, for the Niners?
Yeah, I think he's just saying pick one or from whoever. You have a team? Yeah.
Can you imagine Chandler Jones and Nick Bosa? Like if you're adding them to the night, if that's the way you're doing it?
Could you imagine Hopkins, Deebo Samuel, Kittle, and Ayuk?
Yeah, I need to know the exercise. Like, do I already have receivers? You're right. I think you could take Hopkins. Donald is a lock. You could. I mean, are we sure Jamal Adams? What about DK Metcalf?
Yeah. You're right. The move would be DK instead of Hopkins, so you can get Jones instead of.
Yeah. So I go pass rusher with Donald and DK. I do that.
Would you want to go? You wouldn't go Ramsey if you're going Chandler Jones and DK. Just Darnold's one of the best players in the league. You just take him.
Yeah, I just kind of want DK on my team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's actually that's not as obvious. You can actually have some fun with that.
You could. This sounds crazy because you wouldn't take Aaron Donald, Ramsey, DK, and Chandler. Because Chandler's just an
Ramsey,
elite defensive
DK.
passer.
Yeah, you could do that.
Some good players to pick from.
Yeah, you could also just do Tutu Atwell, Dwayne Eskridge, and Rondale Moore. Just take all the rookie receivers.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
How about the guy you?
What about Deshaun? AJ Green? Just throw back to like 2000.
The living in the past team.
11. Yeah.
And Bobby Wagner.
Dwayne Brown's like 39, I think. I read somewhere. He's 37, I think.
Dwayne Brown, the tackle. Yeah, how about Gabe Jackson?
They have like 4 hold-ins right now in Seattle. Have you seen that? They're at practice. None of them practice. Jamal, Dwayne Brown, they just stand there.
I thought Jamal got paid like 2 weeks ago.
But then they were at an impasse. Someone tweeted at me this tweet that is basically the impasse is they're offering him 17.5. He views himself as a defensive linebacker because he's a pass rusher.
Gotcha.
He led the team, I think, in sacks. So he wants close to $20 million.
Okay.
Which I love a safety going like, I also view myself as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, well, I don't think the arbitrator would, but interesting, why not?
I'd go Jamal take the 17.5.
This is a big one here from D-Man 5365. Enjoy the pod. I found it during some free time during Rona, and I haven't looked back Typically watch him on the tube as well. Two spots to watch a game and have a drink. The Station in downtown Tracy, California. The bar has great beers and drinks, even better barbecue. Recommend the classic Tri-Tip. Tri-Tip, oh God, I love Tri-Tip. I miss it. Speakeasy in Salina, Kansas. Good college bar for Kansas Wesleyan students and cheap drinks. Probably has 40 flat screen TVs playing games all the time. So to everybody who listens and attends Kansas Wesleyan, you probably already know about Speakeasy. Question. You're building a new franchise and you have your choice of two options. Trey Lance is your quarterback or Jimmy is your quarterback, and you get to pick two other players of your choice. Keep up the great work pouring a Tito's now. So Trey Lance or, Garoppolo, Bosa, Trent Williams. Garoppolo, Bosa, Brandon Ayuk. Garoppolo, Trent Williams, Fred Warner. I'm going to go Trey Lance, John. And the reason I'm going to go Trey Lance is because I thought about it. Actually, Thursday we were out of practice, and I said to you, going to a practice every day, watching a quarterback that you don't think can really carry your team has got to be pretty brutal. I just need the upside of the potential that I've got a top 5 quarterback. Kyle Shanahan said that a while ago I think he said on the Flying Coach podcast, you're just constantly trying to get a top 5 quarterback. That's what you're trying to get. So I'm trying to get a top 5 quarterback. That's why I would go with Trey Lance.
Yeah, we know nothing about this guy besides seeing him do cool things in practice. But you have to look at him with the potential, because that's just what you have to do. He can be Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. If you think about it, would those teams trade their quarterback for Jimmy Garoppolo, Aaron Donald, and Devontae Adams? Right? Would you rather? Now, again, you have to be that level good for it, because you would rather have Jimmy, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Donald than Dak, right? You would do, once you get past the line of delineation, starts getting questionable. But once I go the top 4 or 5 guys, you just would not do it.
And in 3 years, you go, no, he didn't turn out to be a top 5 guy. That would have been a bad move. But the promise, the potential at least of that.
You know the one thing that's never happened, for as great as these questions are, and they've been happening in the history of sports, no one's ever just been able to be like, I'll take LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Pete Shaq. I'll take Aaron Donald. How about I get Jerry Rice in his prime? It's a great conversation when you're having Tito's. It just never happens in reality. Love the question, though.
All right. Next up, John, this is from Francis De La Cruz. Love the content. 49er Bar, the American Club Town Club in Hong Kong. Is there a 49er bar in Hong Kong?
Never been to Asia, to be honest with you.
49er. Oh, wait, it's called the 49er at the American Club Town Club in Hong Kong. It's the longest. If you had to tell your cab driver to get there, the 49er at the American Club Town Club in Hong Kong, I think is the name of this place.
That's crazy. I've always wanted to go to Hong Kong.
Wonder what their drink specials are like. Honest assessment of the offensive line from what you saw at practice. Well, Trent Williams might be, I'm not going to say he's the lowest maintenance star left tackle. Maybe left tackles, offensive linemen tend to be low maintenance.
I think they tend to be.
But he's low maintenance when it comes to practice. I would say very businesslike. I think he'll be solid. I think it comes down to the right tackle, McGlinchey. Because even if your rookie's not starting at right guard, you got Brunskill. If Mack is good, if Trent Williams is good, if McGlinchey is good, then that's fine. You got a pretty solid offensive line.
If McGlinchey is just back to solid, they're in good shape.
And I think the honest assessment. I think there's a chance they're in pretty good shape on the offensive line this year.
Yes. I think their starter should be pretty good. McGlinchey would be my question mark. Honestly, I think he looks good in practice, but it is hard to gauge.
Yeah, you're reading his body language.
He looks good. He looks big.
He does.
He's always been tall. He just looks kind of thicker now.
Next up, this is from Dustin Greenwood. Full name on the internet. I respect that. I keep hearing all these great things about our defensive line, which is really good to hear, but my main takeaway is that our offensive line may be in trouble. Alex Mack seems like he's getting beat almost every day, and right guard's currently a mystery since Banks is struggling. Are you guys concerned about the offensive line, or is it just me? Like I said, I don't think Banks is going to end up starting for them at right guard. I think it's going to be Brunskill. I think Alex Mack still has something in the tank.
I think they're fine with Alex Mack. Who's saying he's getting beat? I don't see him getting beat.
Well, the reports have been the D-line's been pretty good, and that's at the expense of the offensive line.
Yeah. I think Alex Mack is fine. I think Aaron Banks not starting is just maybe he's just not ready. Like he's not. Brunskill started a lot of games. I think they got him out of the AAF. Wasn't he one of the AAF guys a couple years ago? Yeah, and I think he's been pretty good. He's played a lot.
Well, Mike McDaniel said it on Wednesday. Part of the standard for Banks is that he has to be better than Daniel Brunskill.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a competition. But
yeah.
Next up, this is from Clarence Molina, full name on the internet. Hi guys, go Tito's. Like that Tito's supports many dog-based charities. Yes, they do. Tito's is for pet lovers. No, that's not what they say. They say Tito's is for pet owners, maybe?
Yeah.
Whatever their line is, they do support many dog-based charities. So happy for my Niners with BA returning punts. That's Brandon Ayuk. And his expected emergence as WR1. That means wide receiver 1. Do you think he can surpass 1,500 all-purpose yards? This is Clarence in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
I'll be completely honest. I know they put that on the depth chart.
You're not buying it?
Do you expect him to return punts?
I mean, he's been returning punts in practice, so why are they wasting time with that?
Well, that's what it exposes myself. I don't pay attention at all besides just like when they're punting to like a bunch of guys. But you think he's gonna be their starting punt return week 1?
I'm a little skeptical of that, but I mean, he's back there catching punts. Every time that I lock in and chart, every time I chart special teams, John, I've seen him back there.
I would not have him returning punts. Like, he is their best wide receiver.
I'd wait for key moments. That's actually been your suggestion. I'm with you. I'd be afraid. But
I think their problem is the way their team's built and the guys they're going to keep. Do they have another punt returner on their team? I do not like
Mohamed
that.
Sanu?
Not return punts.
Your number 3 receiver? You don't want
you can't one of your DBs just do it and catch it and just fucking fair catch it.
Richie James, if he makes a team?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a problem.
1,500. Last year in the NFL, there were 5 players that had over 1,500 all-purpose yards. Those players were Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Stephon Diggs, and David Montgomery. Obviously, what's his name? Christian McCaffrey was not healthy last year. McCaffrey in 2019, he went almost 2,400 all-purpose. Zeke had 17. Chubb had 17. Derrick Henry had 17. Michael Thomas had 17. Leonard Fournette had 16. Dalvin Cook had 16. Jeez, Miles Sanders had 16. Aaron Jones had almost 16. Austin Eckler had over 15. And Saquon Barkley was Chris Carson, not Saquon, was 4 yards short. Could Brandon Ayuk get over 1,500 all-purpose yards? If he plays 17 games, I think he'll have a chance, but I mean, I'm okay if he – I mean, I'd love for him to have we think he's going to have a breakout year. You spread it around. I don't want anybody getting hurt.
I think he could have like 1,400 receiving. I think he could have a big – remember, you get an extra game. Yeah. You have a big year. Big.
Next up, this is from Genovese. Huh?
It's a long
this review was an Audible book, this would be a long one. Genovevo Gonzalez. Great podcast. Kind, John, and very relatable. Easy to listen to. And generally fair in their circumstances. That said, I have one major issue with your analysis, and that's Shanahan love. The facts are he has the worst winning percentage of active coaches since in the NFL since 2017, 463. His offenses in San Francisco have an average ranking of 12. He's only finished top 5 offensive ranking once in 4 years. You're consistently attacking Gruden for his personnel decisions, rightfully so, but the 49ers have the same power structure, and Kyle gets a pass. He hasn't produced outside of the Super Bowl year, coming from guys that preach this is a bottom line business consistently. Why do you have such a strong belief in Kyle's ability as the head coach? Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I do, because he wrote it in there. Besides the Super Bowl year, like the Super Bowl year happened. He got the 1 seed. He beat the shit out of the Packers. He fucking pounded the Vikings and went to the Super Bowl and had the lead. Like, that happened. Gruden has not had a winning season since, like, me and you were in college. So to compare, they have nothing in common. He has drafted several Pro Bowlers all over the roster. Kittle, Warner, Bosa. Like, he had a top 5 pick to hit a home run. Like, that happened. But even if we take away Bosa, like, you should nail the second pick. His mid-round picks, what would the Raiders do for, like, Fred Warner, right? So last year, think about this. Last year, the Niners were a shit show. Their quarterback fell apart. They were a joke. They went 6-10. The Raiders, who was like, God, they were just almost there, right there. Won 2 more games. Derek had one of the second best season of his career. They won 2 more games. So I'd say, I don't know what to tell you. I think sometimes Raider fans, they get so offended with Kyle and sometimes Niner stuff. Like, it's like, guys, you guys just always suck. But if Gruden 2 years ago had been to the AFC Championship game, we wouldn't be talking about him the same. I'm not even talking the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, like, they don't even sniff the playoffs.
No, if Gruden didn't have a 10-year contract, we talk about him being on the hot seat.
It could have been fireable last year.
Also, players rave about Kyle. You know, players that had a bad year that weren't great, you know, are not the best representatives. But we've had a couple of players now in the last couple of days say they're so happy they're not on the Raiders anymore. LaMarcus Joyner, the latest.
I just think you would independently, if the Raiders and Niners had never been in the same area, like no one compares like the Niners and the Giants, right? Or the Niners and the Saints. So the Raiders and Niners are compared because people around here, it was always a conversation, and a lot of Raider fans.
You have coworkers, you're arguing with them. Yeah.
And you never felt you got the respect. I get it. But like, just look at the Raiders independently. Like, I'm not even like, you and I like talking about them and try to be positive about them. They are kind of viewed as a laughing stock at higher level now than maybe what they were 5 or 6 years. But like John Gruden, I'd say universally around the league is kind of laughed at. Well, factoring in the money, like if he was just the hype and the money, and it's just
I think NFL
like,
people think he's a good offensive coach, but the entire operation is not buttoned down. You know where Kyle gets criticized by us is when we start comparing him to Sean McVay, and we go, okay, we think that you're just as good, but McVay's bad years, quote unquote bad years, are still really impressive, right? So to your point, there's no reason really to compare him to Gruden except for location, what it used to be. All right, next up, this is from Central Coast Paulie. First stumbled upon the podcast from 3 and Out. Now it's my go-to each week. One of the most relatable, knowledgeable, and entertaining sports pods out there. Keep up the great work. Much appreciated, Middle Cough, and Hey Behaves. 2 questions. How many TDs will Ross the Boss Dwelly get? Over under 4. And John, how'd you first get introduced to Colin Cowherd? My favorite bar is Red Wave Inn when I was in Fresno 09 to 13. Red Wave Inn, taco specials or wings? Wings.
Tacos, and they got a big ass burrito that was pretty good too.
Okay.
And they got some good chips.
This classic dive bar.
Andy Bennett, Drew Hill, some beers
That's
slammed there for sure.
That's a who's
Red
who.
Wave Inn was a sleeper. I think was a very sleeper bar there.
Do you want to start? How'd you get first introduced to Colin?
Internet, Twitter.
I thought it was Jeremiah Crow. I thought that was how.
Well, he just started following me on Twitter,
95.7.
and then he knew those guys, so I think he asked about me, but he found out about me on Twitter. I thought. That's how I remember.
You remember, but you know better than me.
That's how I always tell people. Twitter. It's like the high point for me in Twitter. Been downhill ever since.
Pretty good high point.
Yeah.
How many touchdowns will Ross the Boss Dwelly get this year? Over under 4. Feels like people are high on Ross Dwelly right now.
It feels about 2 to me. What about you?
I think Dwelly's got a 2-touchdown game in him. So now you got 17 games. People get hurt. I mean, he's got 3 career touchdowns in 3 years. I'm gonna go over just for fun. Why not?
Yeah. I feel 3 feels realistic, like a 2-touchdown game, and then he just has one other one. You're like, damn,
if he's got a 2-touchdown game, he's going over 4, John.
Yeah, he'd have a chance.
This is from Jesse Vita. What's up, guys? I get the hype with Trey, 3rd overall pick, freak athlete, big arm, etc. Yeah. Whoever the starter is, shouldn't we as fans be stoked to have 2 potential NFL starter level QBs? Everyone wants to throw Jimmy out, but shit happens, injuries, bad play. Whoever the starter is, we should keep both. Agree or disagree? Tuning in from sunny Singapore. Keep up the good work, boys. I wish we had a bar drop in Singapore. What's up, Jesse? We definitely agree. Whoever is the starter, they should keep both. And I think if Trey Lance plays well, particularly this week, if there is some real momentum on he could be the week 1 starter, then that really will become a bigger conversation. What do you do with Jimmy? Are you willing to pay a backup this much money?
I would say never because Sam Bradford and the Teddy Bridgewater situation, if someone offered them a first-round pick, I think you would have to do it. I just don't likely see that scenario, and I actually see the Sam Bradford situation working against the 49ers Because if we were like desperate, like let's say our quarterback Dak Prescott's out, it's like Cowboy, should we trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? You'd be like, well, and again, that's a probably bad example because Dak makes a ton of money. But if Sam Bradford came up and we were like sitting at a meeting table with like all of our scouts and a couple of high end coaches, you would be like, that was not a good decision, right?
Yeah,
we should have just rode it out. It was a win for the Eagles
by the Vikings.
It's kind of weird thinking about it, but yeah, he was on the Vikings. I do not really remember that, but he was.
Kyle Martin, another full name. Oh, this might be because this one's from Facebook. Love the pod. Grew up in Vegas. The Niners were the local broadcast every week during the end of the Montana and Young years, which made it very easy to become a fan. Now a transplant in Omaha, Nebraska. When you guys come this way for the College World Series, check out Barrett's Barley Corn. Great atmosphere, stiff drinks, and amazing food. Get the chicken Philly loaded at Barrett's Barley Corn. My question. The plan is for Jimmy G to be QB1. How much does another team have to offer for Shanahan to drive him to SFO? He'd drive him probably to Santa Clara Airport. If Denver called up and offered a first, is that enough? Yes. Would a high second, would like Denver's second round pick be enough?
No, I don't think so. To me, a second's not.
Would they have traded him for a second if they'd been offered that on draft night?
Maybe, but things have changed.
What's changed? Trey Lance looks good.
Well, but you're just around. You see your team. You see the other teams losing quarterbacks. I think it's easier to make those type of decisions when nothing's going on.
Yeah, you're all in on winning this year at any cost. Literally, you might be willing to pay your $25 million quarterback to be a backup. So you have to be compelled, and a first round pick compels you.
I also think like when you say a team second round pick, well, if you have to do it now, you're hoping they win 4 or 5 games. What if they win 9 and then that second? Like at least the guarantee with a first round pick, even if they do make the second round of the playoffs, you're still getting a pick in the 20s.
If I told you Jimmy Garoppolo is Denver's quarterback, how many games does Denver win? 9?
I think they would be better.
Yeah. Well, they absolutely would be better. That's something else. That was it. That's all our mailbag questions. Good mailbag, everybody. Don't forget, Saturday night, if you're listening to this on a Saturday, halftime of the Niner game, instead of our normal Sunday recording of the podcast, we will be recording our podcast on Saturday night, and we will begin that when Trey Lance is done playing, so it should be at halftime of the Niner-Chiefs game, Saturday night.
Yes! Football, guy. I freaking love football. It's back. Kinda, but at least we're very close to the regular season, and then I don't know if I was awake, I was dreaming. Sundays are pretty awesome during the fall. When you just sit around and watch football. And it's just like real football, like real shit's going on.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is sweet.
Yep.
Especially when you get the good days when it's just like games are good and things are awesome. You know, I just a good Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's just find me a better day. Like Saturdays are cool, and I love college football. And maybe it's just where you live in more pro areas. Like I understand, like if you live in out like South, it's huge, right? Ohio State fan is huge. I love Saturdays. Sundays are on a different level though for me. Sundays are awesome. Just so much sitting there and watching.
The best part is when you got the afternoon games and you still have a Sunday and you still have a Monday. Oh, that was one of the things the Premier League took from, I didn't know this, from the NFL, was Monday Night Football.
They have a Monday night game on EPL.
I don't know if they still do, but that was like when it grew in the 90s, they actually called it Monday Night Football.
Genius. Monday Night Football. Monday
Night Football.
Yeah.
Their whole thing was like, forget about your week sucking because it's only Monday. We've got more football. That was like their promotion. Your week doesn't suck because it's Monday.
Think how many downers like Case of the Mondays. You can't have Case of the Mondays if you like football because you got Monday Night Football.
That's right. You can have a Case of the Tuesdays, but that's Tito's Tuesday, so that's awesome. And then Wednesday's here, and then you're one day away from Thursday night Tito's.
You can have Case of the Mondays if you're Louis Riddick. You know a lot more people are going to watch the Mannings than your broadcast.
Yeah, but a lot of people are still watching your broadcast.
Yeah, not guaranteed. More people are still going to watch.
Because no one, are the Mannings on? Which weeks are they on? I don't know.
I think start week 3.
Sometimes, what if you're, because I do wonder if you're watching a game that you really want to lock in on, you're still going to watch the Monday Night Football. I think. We'll see what it looks like. But you're like, I want to lock it on this game. What's Peyton doing? It's like Peyton's, I don't know, telling jokes with Joel McHale. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, if it's like the third week and you're a Packer fan and it's Packers fucking Vikings, that's a serious game for you.
But even if you're not, you just I want to watch this game. What happened on that replay? I don't know, because Peyton and Cooper just played a prank on their mom and they're showing you the video.
Yeah, well, they put the phone in Chinese. That's one of their go-tos.
That was pretty funny, actually.
It was funny.
All right. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We'll see you Saturday night.
Later.